Hello, my name is Chance Hayes, and today I chose to research and talk about social work methods, but mainly teams. So there's a couple different categories under social work methods, but I'll be talking about teams. And I thought it was interesting. In the textbook, it said it's one of the more recent ones that social workers are using compared to the older things that they used in the past. So it's more modern, and you probably expect to be working in teams in a social work setting in the future. So I chose to study and research it, and I thought it'd be interesting. So for the first thing, I found a journal article, and it was titled "Preparing Social Work Students for Interprofessional Team Practice in Healthcare Settings." And it was a study to see whether or not working in team settings helped these students receive better grades on two specific tests. One that had to do with teamwork, and the other that had to just do with social work in general. But basically, the social work students needed to develop a strong professional identity in this study, and so they tested that. They want to see the confidence in their skills, the areas of their expertise, and they stated that if conflict between team members arises, it is often based on status or power rather than on professional expertise. So, really, when you think about teams, and this study kind of went into that, there's people of all different expertises, and they each have their skills, and when they come together, that's what makes a strong team. They have all different skill sets, and they come together to make a whole, basically. So their study was to see the developing educational practices to teach students within a well-grounded framework in the social work professional identity to allow social workers to function more effectively and efficiently. So they taught the skills to participate effectively and lead interprofessional healthcare teams to become increasingly necessary in social work. And they were given the challenges in normal everyday life that they would face. Like I mentioned before, they were tested with two tests. One was the ATHCT, which is the Attitudes Towards Healthcare Teams, and then the TSS, the Team Skill Scale. And so they tested on both of them. Their results showed that practicing and studying in teams helped them gain higher scores in the ATHTC, which was the Attitudes Toward Health Care Teams. So positive on teamwork, but it was highly determined by ethnicity. So for their results, they kind of said, we need some more study in this area. So their results weren't quite effective, but they proved that teamwork did help raise their test scores. For my news article, I found an article from CBS News. I looked all over the place, but I found a pretty recent one as of last year, and it was titled "Proposal Would Use Social Workers, Not LAPD, for Some Calls." And this news article was about how there was kind of a little debate over certain circumstances where the police department should be called, or if they should change to just local social workers, putting them in teams based on their skills and expertise, and letting them be involved in certain circumstances. They stated that the unarmed social workers, instead of police, would respond to nonviolent calls for service under proposal. And so there was a council, and the not quite the majority passed it, but 6 of the 15 in the council in California were in agreement. And I don't know if that ever went into practice, but it would be interesting to see. But basically, they wanted, instead of, because in the past, just with troubles with the police, they thought if they got a team based of professionals within the social work industry, or not industry, but the social work career, such as homeless outreach workers, if they were to handle the emergency situations, then there'd be a lower risk of trouble, basically. So that was something that they were interested in looking into. I'm not sure if it went into practice, but I'm sure they, based on circumstances or like whatever is going on, I'm sure they do call social workers instead of the police department. For the Code of Ethics, the section about teams is in section 2.03. It's called Interdisciplinary Collaboration. And I'll just read that. It says, social workers who are members of an interdisciplinary team should participate and contribute to decisions that affect the well-being of clients by drawing on perspectives, values, and experiences of the social work profession. Professional and ethical obligations of the interdisciplinary team as a whole and of its individual members should be clearly established. Social workers for whom a team decision raises ethical concerns should attempt to resolve the disagreement through appropriate channels. If the disagreement cannot be resolved, social workers should pursue other avenues to address their concerns consistent with client well-being. So, there's a certain risk with being in a team. Just know what your team stands for and basically what your limits are in that team, and it'll be all right. What I found interesting from both the news article and the journal, both were in favor of teams. The idea that getting a group of social workers with different areas of expertise, so like different areas in like health, in clinical, in community, if you got a team of social workers with different areas of expertise, that would be the best team, and they could work together to come up with the best solution. Something from the textbook that was helpful for me, it said that team members with their own expertise and patterns of work and relationships influence team processes. Teams that function effectively have members who are willing to contribute their unique skills and perspectives to discussions and decision making, communicate clearly, and work collaboratively to achieve a common purpose. So teams work great as long as they are working together and have the same purpose. As it stated just right there, they want to achieve a common purpose. So as long as they are working together, things get done, and they get done well. The other thing that the textbook said was research indicates that respectful interactions, clear communication, and agency support all contribute to effective team functioning. So those three things help make a team function better. And then just to leave you all with a question or two to think about. How can being in a team within the social work setting help you grow personally in your career of choice within social work? And what benefits come from working in a team-based workplace? Thanks.